So, the plan to put in motion the world's first head transplant has already been initiated. Overseas, Europe, which, I mean, come on, that's where all the new cutting-edge surgery is happening, all the kooky stuff we never would have thought possible. Human centipede, anyone? It's a 36-hour ordeal, requiring about 150 doctors and nurses. And while this sounds extremely groundbreaking, I mean, you would think that there wouldn't be a whole lot of people in line for that. I mean, because when you consider the implications of it, it requires 2 people to be decapitated. I don't think it's a swap, you know, one body to the other. I mean, because let's be honest with you, people will try to return food that they've consumed already. You know, it's like, I didn't like the steak. Did you have to eat the entire steak before you told me you didn't like it? I want a refund. That nonsense aside, they actually have a volunteer. There's a man with a degenerative disorder. I believe he's a Russian gentleman. He's essentially infirmed all the time. He's just not well. He is not well individual. And he has volunteered to be the first participant in this head transplant operation. Oh, that was a terrible turn. Not mine. My turn was glorious. That's all well and good, because this gentleman's in a wheelchair. If you've seen a photo of him, I don't think he would necessarily object to the idea of having a different body. That aside, according to some researchers concerning this, if it doesn't result in either A, death, or B, successful transplant, well, it's still going to have to be a successful transplant, but like, you know, B, perfect health, nothing goes wrong. The third option, C, is that the transplant, if successful, could end up driving him insane in a way that we've never seen before, because you're taking a brain that's accustomed to a certain set of body chemicals, the juice from your junk, or, you know, the adrenaline from your kidneys, you know, all the different places in your body where you manufacture hormones and different types of chemicals that your body uses to function. He's going to be receiving a completely different set of that now. So, never mind the complete and total psychological hurdle he's going to have to overcome by having a different body. He's going to have an entirely new set of chemicals coursing through his body. Now, yes, everyone has adrenaline. Everyone has, you know, this chemical or that chemical. There are certain things that are inherent to biological nature. However, a lot of those things are tailored to your biology. Your body is essentially its own island, with its own ecosystem, so to speak. And, you know, some ecosystems are, you know, more productive than others, you know, more life-sustaining, so to speak. I understand what you're saying, like, for this guy, you know, the risks outweigh, you know, the risks aren't outweighed by the benefits, because this gentleman is in a wheelchair 24/7. That's how he gets around. I mean, just pooping for him is probably a difficult thing to do. He probably has a custom setup at home. I never mind using a public bathroom. You know, let's roll those dice. Because, I mean, when you're knocking on death's door, or in the case of this guy, just, you know, knocking like a lot, and death is really just taking his time to come to the door, you know, Mad Men's probably on, and, you know, he just opened up an IPA or something, not Pabst Blue Ribbon. He's in his boxer shorts, and he just doesn't really want to be disturbed, so he's just taking his time coming to the door for this guy. In that scenario, for him, it's worth the shot. Flip that coin, roll that dice. I'll stand near the dartboard, you toss that dart, and I bet it won't hit. You know, that kind of stuff. Now, that's all well and good. There is, however, a facet to this operation that I don't think anyone is addressing. And I, so far as I know, I haven't heard anyone write about it, and I think it's exceptionally important. Lord knows if I was having my head put on another gentleman's body, this is something I'd like to have someone discuss with me, because I would hate to, you know, buy the car and, you know, find out that the transmission requires me to insert my hand into a blender and operate, you know, the blades as the shifter, with like, a 1 in, 2,000 chance that they could suddenly just switch on and mangle my hand, yes, albeit an exceptionally extreme circumstance, but given what I'm about to discuss with you, I would think it's something that I would like to have laying on the table ahead of time. I mean, I got a great deal on it. It's a refurbished vehicle, so, 0% APR, no lease, real cheap, is with the addition, or, well, I guess, the replacement of his body, his junk is going to be replaced as well. Now, I know what you're thinking. That sounds like a great idea. Trading in for a bigger model, maybe. Maybe a more functional model. I don't think they've gone into the particulars of his sex life in any article, but I'm going to assume that this gentleman would, in fact, be trading towards at least a more functional model. That aside, here's the thing. Every time he washes himself, every time he goes to the bathroom, every time he pleasures himself, he will be touching another man's dick. I mean, I know it's in essence technically going to be his dick, but really it's not. It is someone else's penis, because let's be honest here, that's not his body. I mean, it will be his body, after he signs the lease, and it'll be his body in the same way a person with a mortgage, owns a house, or the same way a person renting an apartment, that's their apartment, but it's, it's, the house can be taken away, the apartment can be taken away. When you shower in that apartment, you can say you're showering in your shower, but the reality is you're showering in someone else's shower because you don't own it. That's going to be a very similar circumstance here, and I don't think anyone's addressed that with him. Someone needs to sit him down and just get it through his head that when, okay, I'm just going to go out and say, when he jacks off, he will effectively be jacking off another guy. I mean, that is something that really needs to be addressed right up front. Now, yes, technically it's his penis, but think of it this way. Let's just say that you could never come by jacking yourself up. You couldn't come by having sex. You couldn't come by anything under your own power. And the only way you could come was to jack someone else off, to pleasure someone else, to get someone else laid. The only way for you to come was to wrap your digits around another person's crank and work that baby batter. You would be very fucked up by that situation. Yeah. You all just fucking imagined what that would be like. You all just got that image in your head and went, that's a good point. Yeah, so don't fucking look at me like I'm crazy. Don't look at me like, yeah, you're not thinking of the bigger picture. I am thinking of the bigger picture here, okay? I am thinking of the bigger picture. My dick and I, all right, Dave Chappelle says, my dick and I, we're like this. Look, and my dick and I, we're not like this. We're on speaking terms, at best. My body and I do not share similar goals a lot of the time, okay? Now, imagine you're in a situation in which not only are you and your body not really on speaking terms, you're more or less just acquaintances. That's what this guy's gonna have to go through, all right? So, barring the insanity, barring the death, which, you wanna know what? For him, might just be expediting the process. Barring the possibility that the surgery is 100% perfect, barring all of that, the implication that he will have to jack another man off, effectively, to come, will be a permanent part of his life. Now, yes, there are things that some of us do to forget about things like that, like drinking. I just realized that when I said that, that might have implied that I have, that I may have helped in. Okay, I'm not going to go down that road, because everything I say will put a very, very, very guilty sort of Sims-esque gem above my head. And I don't want to be the black dude from the Stroker video game. Yeah. Oh, look it up. Stroker. It's a game where you jack a dude off. Not fucking kidding. Stroker. It's got one corner is a guy's face, huffing and puffing, and center stage in the screen is a black hand coming out of what looks like probably a well-tailored white suit, grasping a meaty white penis and stroking it with animations of the dick growing until it comes and shoots little pixelated droplets of jizz all over your shirt cuff. As the penis shrinks back down in size. Stroker. You know, I think if that guy is into video games, that's not the way he wanted to get into them. But that's just me being wistful.